Welcome to The Hypnotist, brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues.
And as you breathe in, just imagine that you're breathing in a feeling of calm and relaxation, breathing out any feelings of tension or stress. And as you make yourself comfortable now, just settle down and allow all of the muscles in your body to feel loose and limp and so relaxed. As you let your feet and legs relax, your thighs relax, your stomach and chest relax. Keep on breathing in that feeling of calm and relaxation and releasing any feelings of tension and stress as you breathe out. Allow every single part of your body to release that tension, your arms and your hands. Every part of your body, just release that tension now and let go. Relax your neck and your throat. And then all of those facial muscles. Just let them feel loose and limp and slack. Let them relax. And that's it. And as your whole body is comfortable and just so relaxed, perhaps beginning to feel heavy, or almost as though you are floating. For some people, they can feel heavy, and for some people, they can feel light and floaty. But whatever you feel is exactly what you should be feeling for you. And at this moment in time, there is nothing to do, no place to go. Nobody wants or needs anything. It's just a wonderful feeling to feel so relaxed, knowing that there is absolutely nothing that you need to do other than just listen to the sound of my voice. So just relax and let go. And allow yourself to feel even more comfortable, even more relaxed. So safe, so happy, and so relaxed. And allow your imagination to create a feeling of magnificence. And perhaps you're somewhere else. Imagine it now. Imagine a blue sky, a glowing, bright sun. Feel it as it warms your face, your arms, your legs, and this makes you feel even more comfortable, even more relaxed. So comfortable and safe, happy and relaxed. I want you to allow yourself to just go deeper and deeper relaxed into a gentle hypnotic rest. And perhaps you can also create the most beautiful, perfect beach. With the perfect shade of sand, crystal clear waters, perhaps even a gentle breeze on your skin, and a feeling of calm and relaxation that only you can feel when you're there by a beach, hearing the gentle breaking of the waves. I want you to imagine there are 2 palm trees. And in between those 2 palm trees is a hammock suspended. It looks relaxing and inviting. And I want you to imagine climbing into that hammock, feeling a sense of suspension There is no weight underneath you. The hammock is supporting your entire weight. And this particular hammock feels soft and relaxing, calm, giving you the ability to just relax, unwind, and feel calm and comfortable. I want you to imagine, as you feel safe and supported in this hammock, that your whole body is about to go deeper and deeper relaxed. And I want you to imagine that you're about to fall asleep in this hammock. Imagine drifting off now as I count down from 5 to 1. Just imagine drifting off. 5, just feeling like your arms and legs are getting heavier and heavier. 4, your eyelids just feel so droopy and relaxed. 3, going deeper and deeper, almost like you have this desire to yawn. 2, almost feeling like you're about to nod off now. And 1, just imagine falling asleep in that hammock. Deeper and deeper, relaxed, fast asleep. And you can imagine what it would be like to imagine dreaming that you're somewhere else on that beach. You can see that conscious, logical part fast asleep there on that hammock. It's almost like your conscious mind is in a deep, deep sleep, and now this is just your imagination playing games. And I want you to walk around the beach. Imagine feeling the sand beneath your toes and your feet. Imagine the warmth of the sun on your skin. Imagine seeing the bright blue skies, the crystal clear waters, and perhaps even imagine paddling in the shallow part of the sea, feeling the coolness of the water, but also feeling how calm it feels to be connected to nature. I want you to imagine that you can imagine a future. I want you to imagine that from this beach, you can imagine daydreaming about your ideal future. I want you to think about a big, audacious goal, something incredible that would represent your future. And I don't know if this future is a year from now, 5 years from now, or perhaps even 10 years from now, but I want you to imagine that you can daydream about a future so desirable, so compelling, that it gets you feeling excited. There's a part of you that wonders if this goal is just too big, too exciting, and yet you can fathom it, imagine it, see it as if it's happening to that future version of yourself. It feels good to just imagine what it would be like to experience a future where that one significant thing is achieved. But it's important to understand that these things don't just appear in our lives. Anything worthwhile, any goal that you achieve that will make you feel proud, doesn't just happen by accident. It requires a journey. And I want you to imagine that this compelling future that you can imagine in your future is a destination. Not necessarily the destination, but just a destination. Because in your life you visited many different towns and cities and different countries, and each of them was a destination. But that didn't mean that that was the only destination that you ever experienced. So as you imagine this particular destination, you really feel that you're on your way there. And I want you to think about the kind of things that you would need to actually arrive at that destination. Clearly, you have to know where you're heading, but equally, you need the right resources to make it there. And I want you to, before you embark on this imaginary journey towards this destination, I want you to appreciate what you already have. Because a trap that people fall into in the pursuit of big dreams and big goals is they focus too much on the feeling of dissatisfaction. That somehow, because you want something bigger, there can be for some people a feeling that the life you already have is not good, not worthwhile, not desirable in any way. And that's not normally the case. There are normally several things in your life right now to be hugely appreciative of. And I want you to really think about just 3 things in your life that, whether you achieve this big goal or not, fills you with a feeling of gratitude. Maybe it's a particular person in your life. Maybe it's a particular quality that you admire in yourself. Or maybe it's a particular thing that you've done for other people. But I want you to really think about the thing that makes you feel the most gratitude. Hone in on that. Imagine stepping into the version of you where that feeling of gratitude was at its highest. And as you do so, doesn't it fill you with an increased feeling of gratitude right now? I want you to imagine that that feeling of gratitude is glowing, growing, getting bigger and bigger. In the same way that a rechargeable battery can have low levels of energy and then just by being charged for a few hours can be at the peak level, I want you to imagine that by tapping into those feelings of gratitude for what you are most appreciative of, it is recharging your batteries. And as that feeling of gratitude grows and glows within you, I want you to imagine that it gives you a feeling of meaning in the moment. And how can it be that you could be grateful for something in the future if you can't be grateful for something in the present? And the more grateful you are for what you already have, the more fuel you will have to seek out new reasons to be grateful in the future. And I want you to also appreciate that as good as gratitude is, it also requires other resourceful states in order to make progress. And one of the key things that can hold anyone back is resentment, anger, or hate. And I want you to imagine that there you are on one side of the beach. And I want you to imagine way on the other side of the beach represents your destination, this future goal that you want to accomplish. And I want you to imagine that there are 3 large stones behind you, and each stone is attached to a rope. And each of those ropes is now attached to your waist. I want you to notice that you are at one side of the beach, and way on the other side of the beach represents your future. And as you look at those rocks, each of these rocks will represent a different feeling. The first is a feeling of resentment. And I want you to think, what is it that you resent, either in yourself or in others? Scan for any feelings of resentment. And if there are any, that represents the size of that rock attached to the rope that is now attached to your waist. I want you to look at another of the 3 rocks. And one of those represents hate. Now you might have a feeling that it is justified to hate a particular thing, but just know that hate can change the energy to make it harder to move forward. And another rock represents anger. And it may be that you're angry at a person or an event or something from your past, and just know that all 3 of these rocks are attached to you. And I want you to turn around and now look at the future that you want to achieve. Think about that one big goal. And while it may be possible for you to make progress towards that big, audacious goal right at the other end of the beach, I want you to imagine how difficult it would be dragging these 3 very heavy rocks behind you. That even if you did it, you would be exhausted, and maybe the rope would burn your skin as you try and move forward with the friction of the rope attached to these heavy rocks holding you back. It occurs to you that perhaps the most logical thing to do is simply to cut the rope attached to this resentment, anger, or hate, enabling you to make progress forward without being attached to those things that are holding you back. Now, although we're labeling them resentment, hate, and anger, just know that these rocks represent anything holding you back. Perhaps beliefs stories about yourself, things that you were told as a child that simply aren't true anymore. And as you appreciate that there are things holding you back, preventing you, or certainly slowing the progress towards this desirable future that you want, know that you have a choice. You can attempt to move forward, carrying the weight of your past, or you can focus on cutting the rope to enable yourself to make progress without carrying the heavy loads of your history and your past. And I don't know whether or not you have to simply think of the past in a different way that will enable you to cut that rope. Or perhaps you need to forgive someone. And even if they have never apologized, or even if you need to apologize to yourself, just know that sometimes forgiveness is not about the other person, but it's entirely about yourself. And by forgiving them, whether you can physically or not, is more about you cutting the rope than it is about making them feel better. I want you to do whatever is required to cut that rope. Forgive yourself, forgive someone else. Maybe perceive something from your past to be something that has now made you stronger, more resourceful, or more determined. I'm going to count down from 5 to 1, and whatever needs to happen in your deep unconscious to enable you to let go of whatever is holding you back will simply happen. And maybe you will visualize the rope being cut. And as that happens, suddenly you will feel that you're able to move forward without carrying this huge weight of your past anymore. Starting to count 5, just feeling like you're letting go of your past by forgiving whoever needs to be forgiven, including yourself. 4, turning past events into learning opportunities so that whatever has happened is now working for you rather than against you. 3, reconciling any anger or hate into new ideas, new perceptions and perspectives to enable things to work for you in a more useful and beneficial way. 2, thinking that the moment you truly let go of the past, emotionally, you are no longer holding on to the weight that is holding you back. And 1, really knowing that when you make a decision, the decision changes your future, and decide now to leave the past in the past, that you have taken all of the knowledge, insight, wisdom, and experiences from whatever has happened, and that it will now work for you rather than against you. That's it. And as you make that decision now, just imagine that the ropes that were tied to you are now cut, that the ropes around your waist are now falling down to the ground, perhaps the sand beneath you. You can now see the rocks there, those heavy rocks there on the sand, but they are no longer attached to you, giving you the ability to move forward without carrying the weight of your past. But before you make progress towards the desirable future, way on the other side of the beach, what I'd like you to do is to connect with a feeling of energy, the most resourceful energy possible. I want you to imagine that as you put out your hand in front of you, imagine a glowing ball of energy. This ball of energy will represent all of the feelings of you at your most resourceful. And I don't know if you're at your most resourceful when you are inspired, or perhaps when you are determined. Maybe it's when you have a clear vision of the future, or maybe when it's because you have something to prove. But whatever it is for you, just know that as you imagine placing your hand out in front of you, a glowing ball of energy is increasing in both size and intensity. And this represents you at your most resourceful, when things that were previously difficult now feel suddenly easy and effortless. That you have the ability to move forward and pick yourself up quickly when there are any setbacks or things that get in the way. This feeling of resourcefulness, resilience, inspired energy, and focus. Imagine that ball getting so big and so bright representing all of the resources you need most, and then imagine it transferring from in front of you into you, perhaps around your heart or your solar plexus, and imagine what it would feel like to not just have let go of whatever was holding you back, but now be connected with you at your most resourceful. And as you really enjoy connecting with that energy, I want you to imagine now that suddenly, as far away as that future goal or dream or vision was, suddenly it feels more achievable, that it's within touching distance. That's right. Tapping into that knowledge, that wisdom, you at your most inspired and resourceful. And then I want you to imagine that you're walking towards that future. But I want you to imagine that there are holes along the beach, holes that are hidden under light palm tree branches, dusted with sand, so you can't see the holes on the way there. And every now and then as you walk forward, I want you to imagine that you fall in one of these holes. And they're not deep holes, perhaps half the size of your body, but you do fall into them. And I want you to imagine that you have this feeling that just because you've fallen into a hole doesn't mean that you've teleported all the way back to where you were where those 3 big stones, those rocks are located. You're just as far as you were before, but it does require effort to get out of those hidden holes on the beach. And notice that each time you fall into a hole, a choice is created. One of those choices could be that you're not meant to pursue this vision, this future, and that you should go back to your past, go back to where things were comfortable, even if they weren't desirable. Or you can decide to get yourself out of that hole and continue making progress towards the desirable future that you want. Notice that each hole represents a choice. And perhaps you know people in your own life that have fallen perhaps in just 1 or 2 or even 3 holes, and that has given them evidence that they were not meant to pursue their future. But equally, there may be people in your life that always seem to encounter setbacks, and yet that does not stop them from continuing to make progress. But because you feel so resourceful and because you're not carrying the weight of these 3 large rocks anymore, suddenly you feel motivated to get out of each and every hole and continue making progress towards your future, your audacious, desirable goal. And notice that each time you climb out of one of those holes to continue making progress, it gives you evidence, a strengthened belief that you are able to fail but fail forward, to learn from setbacks, that you have an increasing desire of discipline, determination and resilience, meaning that even when you do fall in a future hole, you just accept that is part of the territory, part of the price you are willing to make in order to pursue such a compelling vision and goal for you. And on that journey, I want you to imagine all of the unintended positive side effects that you may experience by pursuing a goal, a future, with such inspired energy. Who else will you inspire? Who will you become a role model for? What will you learn about yourself that will apply to other areas of your life that you had no intention of improving, but will just increase in their ability and your ability to enjoy the very best of life, to solve problems, to move forward? Not because you're trying to do that thing, simply because it is an unintended side effect of you pursuing a compelling dream and vision for you. I want you to also realize that there is an inner belief in yourself. And I don't know if this will be located around your temple or in your heart or in your gut, just know that there is a feeling of inner belief that even when all the evidence seems to indicate that it is not possible for you to reach this destination, this event in your life that will represent success or a compelling future for you, even when all the evidence suggests that it is just too difficult, there is an unwavering feeling of self-belief backed up by the courage to take action that just encourages you to know that it will happen if you persist. And as you accept that you have all the resources necessary to make progress, to learn from feedback and setbacks, and continue to keep moving forward in the journey of your life, just know that each and every time you do that, it gets easier and easier and easier. Now, I want you to imagine that whatever has needed to have happened for you to make all the progress required has now happened. I want you to imagine that you are very, very close now from achieving or accomplishing that one big audacious goal that you were thinking about before. And as you achieve that thing, I want you to imagine what it would feel like, particularly answering the question how you will know when this goal has been accomplished. What will you need to experience? What will you need to hear from other people? What's the evidence to prove to yourself that you have actually achieved this goal? And imagine that you are accomplishing that goal now. Where does that good feeling of accomplishment reside within your body? How do you know that you've actually accomplished it based on how you feel? What are other people in your life saying to you? Maybe well done, congratulations. Maybe they're impressed. Maybe you can imagine sharing your experience of accomplishing this goal on social media, and you can imagine reading the comments or messages from other people. What feedback are they sharing with you? Are they happy for you? Are they congratulating you? And also notice that not everyone will be happy with your success, but it doesn't need the approval or validation of other people, because true success and the true accomplishment of a goal only needs you to feel good about your accomplishment. Because for some people, you achieving your goal will represent the distinction and comparison, the evidence that they haven't achieved their goal yet. And for some, you will inspire them to reconnect with their dreams and their goals. But for others, they will have the very resentment that will, if they allow it to, hold them back from achieving whatever real dreams and goals are important for them. Just know that as you connect into that feeling of pride, celebration, accomplishment of achieving your big, audacious goal, that this will actually recharge your batteries to set bigger and more powerful goals in the future. But for now, reconnect with that feeling of gratitude. The gratitude comes from appreciating what you have and what you are achieving, really connecting in that moment. And as you do so, I want you to get a feeling that because you enjoy this experience so much, you can't wait to turn this vision of your future into a premonition. And that's all a premonition is, thinking about the future in such a clear way that you can't help but pursue whatever is necessary to make that premonition into a reality. And as you experience how good it feels to feel this particular feeling, I want you to know that this is simply a dream within a dream. And now it's time to imagine walking back with the feeling of accomplishment, the feeling of pride from achieving this goal. And I want you to imagine going back now to that version of you that's still fast asleep in the hammock. And perhaps nearby you can see those 3 big heavy rocks. And I want you to imagine, just before you reconnect with the conscious part of yourself, I want you to imagine how difficult it would have been to achieve your particular goal or dream had you still been attached to the resentment, the hate, the anger, or any other rocks that were holding you back, that when you fell down those holes, would you still have the same energy and desire to move forward, carrying all that additional weight with you? It occurs to you that the success that you have had a taste of was entirely dependent on leaving the past that holds you back in the past and connecting with the resources that will enable you to make progress in the future. And as you accept that to be true, that sometimes decisions need to be made about what to leave behind and what to reconnect into, just know that you have unlocked all the resources required to make progress in your future. As you see yourself fast asleep there in the hammock, I want you to climb into that hammock, climbing into that version of you, but taking all of those resources with you, the good feelings of gratitude, resourcefulness, pride and accomplishment, having a taste of what your future will be like, and knowing that you have unlocked everything required to make that a reality. And now in the hammock, just feel that gentle swing, that you're connecting with your conscious mind. And now remember that this is just an imagination exercise, and that actually you are wherever you really are. And I want you to connect into that body now, because very soon I'm going to count from 1 to 10 to awaken you, and you will awaken feeling resourceful, feeling optimistic, feeling that you have unlocked all of the things necessary for you to pursue your dreams and goals, and that you are more than willing to leave behind anything that is either holding you back or no longer serves you. You will awaken feeling optimistic, positive, and inspired. Starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.